You're building a 40-seater, 40,000 capacity stadium.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the city of Kampala.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I saw only black engineers. And I was amazed because I've never seen anything like that before. Because anytime you see any big construction going on, we tend to see either the Chinese or maybe the whites surveying everything.
No, but maybe when you look at the stadium, how many Africans have built a stadium like I've done? Maybe I may be the first or one of the few. What I've done in its totality as building a stadium, it is an illustration to my fellow Ugandans and Africans that look here, even for massive projects like this one, we can do it ourselves. And I've made sure all the people I employ, all the engineers and everyone on the stadium is totally, absolutely, completely Africans. So I'm trying to show them that look here, we can do it. If I've done it, you too can. You can do it. Let us put our hands together and make sure we build Africa. For it is our obligation as Africans to build Africa. If we don't take that onus or responsibility upon us, that it is our obligation to build Africa, then Africa shall never develop.
When you talk of investment or investor in Africa, it's synonym to a foreigner.
But that is what we are trying to change right now. We are trying to show everyone that look here, yes, we can develop Africa as Africans. This is our identity. This is we are defined by who we are. We are Africans. Africa as us. And we have Africa. So, we leave it for who will develop Africa if we don't take the responsibility upon us to build and develop Africa. We have limited ourselves to mediocrity and for any big projects you look at in Africa, it's either done by the West, by the Europeans, by the Chinese. Yet, they have the same red blood like we are flowing in our veins. We are humans like them. We can actually even do better than them if we address our minds to reasoning. And for me, I've decided to stop talking about it and illustrate. Maybe talking may not be convincing enough within perimeters of reason that look, it is possible for us to make it. That's why I wrote a book, Success and Failure, based on reason and reality. For reality is what it is, as you see it, not what you want it to be.
How many people have you employed?
Currently, I employ close to 4,600 employees directly under me. And they're all Ugandans.
How do you define Africa? When you hear the name Africa, what comes into your mind?
It would be unrealistic of me to define something under reasonable perimeters that is existent. Africa is what it is, the way you see it. And all I can say is Africa is blessed with a lot of natural minerals. Africa is blessed with energetic people. Africa is blessed with, Africa is blessed with everything apart from inability for us to reason on how to exploit and explore the prevailing circumstances and available resources to us towards our progress and prosperity as a continent. The only missing factor in Africa is reason. Otherwise, God has blessed us with everything we need for us to make it. It will be unrealistic and unreasonable for any African to blame that we are not blessed by nature, to blame God that we are never blessed by nature, for we are fully blessed. If we can only reason out on how to explore and exploit the prevailing circumstances and resources we hold at hand towards our prosperity as a continent.
You made it in Africa, but an ordinary African is saying that it's not possible to make it in Africa.
But that statement from a reasonable perspective is wrong. How can you say that it is wrong? It is impossible to make it in Africa. Yet there are Africans that have made it. It is defeated by reason and reality. You see, that is exactly what I'm fighting. Inability for Africans to believe in themselves. If I can do it, you can do it. What is the difference between me and you? We all have the same time in a day. We have 24 hours. I don't have any different. What do I do different from you that has made me prosper and has kept you in the state you are at? For me, I think it is all about, it's all in the mind. It all starts and ends in the mind. One is reasoning capacity, is a direct path toward success or failure. The difference and gap and distance between success and failure is reason.
Before I let you go, I'm so sorry. I think I've been asking so many questions. I have a lot of Africans in the diaspora that watches my videos.
Yeah.
If you have a message to them, what would that message be? Africans living abroad.
No, Africans go abroad looking for better ways of survival. They are where they are. And they are in the best position to determine and articulate the forge way forward from where they stand. It would be unreasonable and unrealistic of me to authoritatively give an opinion on a position for which I'm not part of from a realist perspective. But I can give an opinion on what it is in Africa today. Maybe majority have left because of the prevailing circumstances, like our weak education system that has made them believe you can only make it abroad, not in Africa. Like I told you, these are imported and imposed education systems that we are never drafted realistically to meet the challenges and prepare the African child with the equipment to articulately analyze and understand the challenges at hand and forge corresponding solutions. Maybe one of the biggest problems Africa has is our education system. Because you see, we are born Africans, but it prepares us into modern Western slaves, if I can put it articulately. Whereby by the time someone is leaving university, all they can think of is go and look for better resources abroad. And maybe that's why a majority of people living abroad. So if qualified engineers, qualified doctors, qualified nurses are all leaving Africa, how is Africa going to grow? Maybe we should start believing in ourselves, our origin.
I think most of them are also leaving because the systems in Africa don't really work.
But it all goes back to reason. Okay. Now, so you are leaving Africa for who? Africa is what you have.
For me and you.
No, but you're an African. Are you an African?
Yes.
So why don't you first believe in the fact that you're an African? Identity is an element of reason. Understanding your identity is an element of reason. Saying I'm by the names of Miss Chugun, I'm by such and such a age, I am a black man, and I'm an African, and what can I do to improve my life and the lives of those around me? So, deterrence and does running away from a problem solve it?
No.
If I'm looking for modernity, I should go look for it elsewhere. Have you solved the problem?
No.
Actually, you've moved to society that you're a foreigner in that particular society. So, and majority when they're counting, you're not even a citizen, you don't even qualify. That is why I decided to do the White House in Uganda. Let us struggle or strive towards achieving our desires in our motherland, instead of struggling and striving so much towards leaving our motherland. I know majority leave because of different prevailing circumstances. I don't want people to get me wrong. But from a reasonable point of view, that is a personal opinion, which may be a fact or not depending on the reasoning capacity of the reader. But that is my opinion. Within perimeters of reason, self-identity is very key. And taking personal responsibility is equally key. So, whose responsibility is it to develop Africa and pull it forward.